to learn more about English, to learn more French, not French, but Spanish. Portuguese is my native language. So, and I can understand a little bit French. I'm starting to understand better that. So I think that is something that I believe, I know that most of you is not from Canada or from Cameroon or for other countries. And most of you is English speakers. But I was thinking about what can I say for you guys to help you on that situation. So I divided here in my message, very short message, not to be a very long one, but about some kind of skills is important for you guys, for everybody, for growing in the career, or to changing the approach, or to get a more leadership position or so. So the first thing that I would like to mention to you that in my point of view is the most important thing that we need to do is about the communication. Communication is one of the keys for the cybersecurity person. When you are able to communicate properly, we can go to the heaven. Because when you're talking about the communication, we are talking about the I'd say cybersecurity. We are talking about risk. We are talking about business. So let's just a very simple exercise here. I know that most of you is cybersecurity or IT person or something or someone that would like to go for the cybersecurity area, and that is the point, because cybersecurity today, it's part of the business, and we need to understand and we need to be able to translate the technical things for the business things. Because when you have that kind of ability, we can get some money for investing in technology. We can defend new positions for hiring new person, and we can stay closer with the business. When you're staying closer with the business, to understand the business, to understand many other things, so you can help the people. Because it's very difficult to defend or to protect the company that we don't know, to protect some kind of business that we don't know. So cybersecurity is not about just technology. It's very important. Cloud, it's very important. And you need to be able to get that kind of knowledge and applying that with business. That is the first thing that I'd like to share with you about the communication. Communication about the verbally writing or presentation, many other things. So that is the first thing that I'd like to share with you. The second thing is about the self-study. So cybersecurity, this is something like, it's very funny because, today we can sleep thinking that we have a proper knowledge in terms of cybersecurity. Next week, we're going to see that, whoa, a lot of things new here. So I need to understand, we need to study. So, but you cannot depend on the other people for having that kind of knowledge for you. So this is very important to read, to participate of that kind of situation. Seminar, to participate of the LinkedIn. If you don't have LinkedIn, guys, please create a LinkedIn for you. That's very important. And just one point here, Felix, if you don't mind, I'd like to take a picture in the end of the message here. And I'd like to write some kind of words in LinkedIn to congratulate you and the team here for that kind of initiative. I think we need to spread that initiative. But if you want, I think it would be very good to have a post on LinkedIn to mention that very, very, very nice work that we are doing here with other people here.
Yep.
So,
now we can do that.
Okay. The third point, it's about the curiosity. To see something like, if you need to understand something, starting researching about it. This is very important for you guys. So curiosity, it's something like it's trying to understand the changes, trying to understand the things, or no. Let me give you an example. Yes, I think it's 2 days ago. It was 1 year about the war between Russia and Ukraine. And we've been starting realizing some kind of movements in the market in terms of cyber attacks. So that situation, you won't be able to get that for the course or any other things because it's a day by day. So that's because we need to have curiosity for receiving information, to get more information, to research about the information. That is very, very important for you guys. So that is the third tip that I'd like to share with you. The fourth one is about resilience. So why resilience? Because when we are working for companies, we need to understand that in some time we will suffer an attack because that's part of the world today, digital world today. And we need to be able to have enough resilience for defending, protecting, or responding the instant. That's very important. Just one example here, just about the resilience. Before I joined to Brookfield, that's like the company that I'm working for today. I work in a fund of Brazilian company, one of the biggest Brazilian company here, Latin America. And we had a very huge ransomware attack. I was responsible for the cybersecurity at that time. And since the company stopped working, nothing was working, nothing working in that time. So just to have an idea, everybody needed to go to the paper for attend the client, the customer in that time. So that shows the importance of the cybersecurity today. Cybersecurity is not just a technical situation. When you are talking about the industry one, if you have a cyber attack, we can have a blackout. Nobody with light, nobody with internet, nobody with nothing. So that is because our area today, the cybersecurity area, is very, very important for the world today. We are seeing in the health sector, health industry, that a lot of doctors use the machine for surgeries and another thing, thinking that we have a cyber attack there, and that cyber attack can change a little bit the codes of that kind of robot and then kill the people. So that is very, unfortunately, it's common today, at least in Latin America. So that's because the increase of the cybersecurity area and the gap that we have in Canada today. And I mean that not just in Canada, as Felix has mentioned before, but around the world. Every country that I know today, this says we have gap in terms of cybersecurity people. So that is because it's a very good area for moving forward, I say, or continuing growth about it. The last one is about leadership. That's very interesting. So we talked about the communication, curiosity, self-study, and resilience. The first one, the fifth one is about the leadership. So leadership is something like, it's not just because, oh, I'm a manager or I'm a senior manager or I'm a director, it's not about it. It's a leadership is the ability to work with others and then to get the information, to work in a team, the teamwork, to construct the project, to report it for the company today, and then to influence others. Because let's see that when you're talking about the cybersecurity person, we are talking about the technical person. However, it is the past. But now we need to have that kind of ability for having that kind of leadership, because most of the time, like if you need to apply a patch, or if you need to, or if you need to fix something that is not part of our job, for example, we need to influence others, like patch management. This is common part of the IT department. So, but it's not a priority for them in most of the time. So what you need to do as a cybersecurity person, we need to influence them to make it done. So like, hey guy, hey Felix, you are an IT manager. So guy, that is very important to apply the patch. That's very important to fix that kind of vulnerabilities. Because if you don't do that, we can have some problems about the business. We can have some blackouts. We can have some situation. We can have some situation. Just to an example to show exactly what I'm talking about, following the same example that I had before, that I shared before about the ransomware attack, I needed to have a very ability for helping others, for fixing everything, because the website, customer website, many other things was down. The internet was down in that company. So we needed to have an ability to the leadership for a guy. That is very important. That is very important. That is very important. If we need to open again the internet of the company, we need to fix that, and that. After that, it was it was a very interesting experience. However, it was very difficult because I needed to work 1 month, sleeping in the company and many other things. So it's a very, I'd say, it's what's very, it's like a war. When you participate of the war, you have an experience, but war is never good. And that is about the leadership. That is about something that we believe that is very important. Another one that I forgot to mention, I forgot to write here, is about the psychology. I'd say that mental health, I'd say. This is very important for cybersecurity, because one point that I've been realizing in the market today, it's a very huge gap of cybersecurity. And some people that are not sure if I will go for the cybersecurity, because that is a very stressful area for moving forward. So this is for sure that's stressful. But when you have some kind of ability, I think we can deal better with that kind of situation. So that is because I've been realizing some kind of cybersecurity professional with depression or burnout or many other things. And it is because when you have a bad leadership, when you don't have a proper resilience, or when you don't have proper communication, I'd say. So that is very important for us. So take care about your mental health, your psychological health, your physical health. It's very important for that situation as well. So that is the 6 things that I'd like to share with you. Just to recap, that is to wrap up, that is like communication, curiosity, resilience, self-study, leadership, mental health, psychological health. That is the 6 things that I'd like to share with you. And to continue, if you understand that, nothing that is about the technical things. It's about the soft skills. However, you need to have this hard skill. Exactly that kind of situation of the cyber pro initiative that Felix and other people is talking about here today. It's about the GRC, it's about the cloud, it's about the network security, it's about many other things. So when you combine the hard skills or technical skills and about the soft skills, we can have more synergy with the areas, and we can translate that kind of situation for the business. When you have that ability, we are going to start growing in the career. That is the magic. You can have as much as possible knowledge you can, technical knowledge. But if you don't have the ability for translating that kind of knowledge for the business, you're going to stay forever in this kind of technical skills. That is very important, and then a gap as well. This is a very good start. This is about technical situation. It's about the JRC for cloud, cybersecurity, and many other things. So I'm open to, if you have any question, I have some time for answer that. And thank you, Felix, for that. It's a very briefly thing that I'd like to share with you now. It is about that 6 concept that I believe that's very important. And I've been seeing around the company today, around the world today, in my experience, in Silicon experience, in any other kind of situation that I have experienced as well. So I will have one person that would like to ask, or 3. It's good.
Yeah, so we'll take them in
You're
order.
free.
So maybe we'll start with the first person. We can begin with Dandy. Mr. Dandy, maybe you go ahead to ask the question.
Mm-hmm.
Professor Leonardo, thanks for coming by once again. My name is Dandy. Sorry, I just want to ask my question the way I understand it. Like, basically, coming from a different background, so I just want to ask a question. In a layman's maybe understanding, what do you think is the best approach? You have now told us what, let me say, the managerial aspect, translate the technical into business point of view. But as someone that is coming from a different background that knows nothing about IT, like, what do you think in a layman way is the best way of approach to
It is a little. Sorry, I think your connection is not, maybe it's not right. It's just cutting the information for me. So.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Can you repeat, please?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you in sometimes, but in some time your voice disappears. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay, maybe it's my network. Okay, my question is this: in a layman's way, what do you think is the best approach for someone that has no experience in this field to approach this course? We understand, okay, keeping the side of the management on the way, or how to translate it, like how for us to understand this technical way first. How do you think is the best approach to understand this profession? Yeah.
Very, very good question. So I think the first thing we need to understand what you want, what is important for you. That is the first thing, because in the cybersecurity, we are talking about like a medicine today. We have a very different areas. For example, if you would like to, because that is the first thing that you mentioned. The second thing about the communication, many other things, but doesn't matter if you have a very good ability for communicating. However, you don't know nothing about the technical skill. We need to do that for sure. I'd say that if it can advise one area very important today, it's about cloud security. Cloud security, one of the cloud security, DevSecOps, it's something like very important also. And about the instant response, I'd say. But the first one, I think, it's a monetary one. It's about the demand of the market today. It's very high for the people that today can understand more about the cybersecurity, in the cloud, to architecture in terms of integration between cloud, other kind of environment. So answer your question in a very objective way. I'd say that's a very good start for the cybersecurity people. It will start understanding better about the cloud environment, and then to understand how can we protect better the cloud environment. When you say that, because that is part of the, everywhere you can do that, Microsoft, Azure, AWS, many other things. So you're gonna have an ability for protect to that, and we can jump for other areas like instant response, like infrastructure security, DevSecOps, many other things. But I'd say that's
Yeah,
a very good start as a,
yeah,
as a company.
yeah. So, Leo, and the good thing, which is it also ties with the structure of our program. If you look at the modules, which is quite different from many training centers out there, we have DevSecOps added to this training. We have AWS. We even have an AWS expert here. We have AWS. We'll be teaching AWS in this program. So like you said, because we know a lot of companies are moving into the cloud, and it's a very huge area. We've mentioned some of these things to them, that third party risk assessment is an area that some of them who are maybe too business driven can take that direction into auditing and all the like. So just to add to this, we've also added API security to the program. I'm going to send that to you, so you look at the modules. But one thing I know, again, if I understand again, Dandy, one of the things he's trying to also understand is what are the key areas to have that technical ability, like you talk about architecture, SOC. I mean, that those basic technical skills, like knowing about SOC, doing architectural review. I remember we discussed some of these things. Those first when you visited Canada. I know in the future you might come in again when you have time. You are very busy. When you have time, just to give them those focus area, those foundational areas that they'll be able to build other things on.
No, for sure. The entry question is very good. So I think it's you are in the right way, Felix, in the program about the GRC cloud API. That's part of the DevSecOps as well. That's very important things to move forward. Well, as I mentioned before, cybersecurity is like a medicine, but it's a very good start. It's a cloud security. I'd say that's the demand for today about that situation, about that kind of professional, it's very high, and we don't have enough person for taking care about that situation in the company. And this salary is not bad, I'd say. It's a good one.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay, yeah, okay, thank you, Dandy. So we'll take the next person. Let's have Oyaje.
Thank you, Professor Leonardo. That's right. Thank you for your presentation and the advice that you've given to us today. Well, my question basically is about breaking into the cybersecurity field. That is, at the end of our program, successfully landing a job in this field. And I'll phrase my question this way. When you are making a hiring decision, what do you prioritize? Is it the individual's years of experience in that field? Because most job ads that we see, they ask for a certain number of years of experience in that field. Or do you prioritize the soft skills and knowledge that the person has, as some of the soft skills you mentioned, and also if the person is able to demonstrate that the person has good knowledge in that field, would that make the cut for you?
A very, very good question as well. It's always very, it's a very good question. Thank you for that. So I'd say that depends on the situation. In sometimes we really need, for example, we're not talking about the SOC 1 Security Operations Center. And when you need a person for that kind of situation, I'd say that soft skill is very important, but the hard skill is mandatory, because they need to understand what he's talking about, what he is doing for that, because they need to, the SOX analysts, for example, they need to understand about the network security, many of the things, cloud, many of the things, to understand the potential incident and then to react to that situation. And when we're talking about that situation, we are talking about also working overnight, 24/7. So the people need to be resilient for that situation as well. So I think it's a kind of both. However, we need to measure the type of position. When we're talking about the SOC 1, I think the priority is about the hard skills. However, we need to have also soft skills, because when you don't have soft skills, but we have a very good person in terms of hard skills, technical skills, it's going to be very difficult for the leadership to understand about the report, to understand about the presentation, to understand about what happens overnight. And so that's because it's important. When you're talking about a specialist, I'd say that my priority is about soft skills, because when you have a person very good, very hard skills in terms of, I'd say, technical aspects, but if that person doesn't have the ability for the communication, he's going to lose the power of the influence of the people. Because we can know everything in terms of cloud security, everything in terms of soccer. So, but if you cannot sell that situation, if you cannot create a good presentation for defending a budget, for purchase some kind of technology, you're going to lose the time. Doesn't matter if you were very expert on that kind of situation, but you don't have a soft skills, you lose the ability for implementing a lot of things. We're not talking about the DevSecOps. It's very important for technical skills. It's very important technical skills. So the priority is technical skills. When you're talking about the last one, we're not talking about the leadership. I say that it's 6% of the soft skills and 40% of the technical skills. So depends of the situation, but I'd say that I never hired a person with no soft skills. My first question about is to understand about his person. If that person is a trustful person, if that person is a curious person, if that person has any kind of ability for leadership, not leadership to have a boss, to be a boss, but to leadership to influence others. After that, I
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
think
sure
we
if
lost.
I'm not sure if that's answered your
Yeah,
question,
yes,
but I think so.
you really helped a lot, but I need just a little clarification on another aspect. Like when you talked about the kind of roles that you would give more attention to technical skills. When you're assessing that technical skill, what precisely would boost your confidence enough to hire that person? Is it certifications in that field, or the number of years that individual has worked with that skill?
Good point. So I'd say that experience. The three things. Certification, it's very important, but not enough, because I know a lot of people that have a lot of certification, but doesn't have enough experience to put that in place. That is the point. Certification also, like CISA, CISP, or AWS, it's very important. However, it is depends of the situation, depends of the level of seniority we need to experience. For example, if you are talking about the specialist, for sure that's the last thing that I start asking is about certification. The last thing. The first thing is about hey, how many projects did you participate on that situation? Or how many years do you have an experience in that area? Or how many certifications that we have? So answer your question, it's about the experience, projects, and after certification. But depends of the level of seniority. For example, we need to be fair about it. If we are hiring someone in a junior position, for sure that it would be very important to understand the soft skills about the ability to learn, ability to research, because we need to know that that person is a junior don't have enough experience up to now. So you're going to need to understand some points, and we're going to need to understand, oh, let me see in 3 years, that's kind of abilities that guy could be able to get. But when you're talking about the senior position, when you're talking about that situation, so experience, quantity of projects, and then certification. But certification is very important for sure. Education, certification, certificate, it's important as well.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was a good one.
But just one point. We just need to take care about because when you have a lot of certification, but we don't have an experience, maybe we can be hired for that position, but it's not. You cannot support that for some years. So that is because it's very important. Well, I have that certification, but unfortunately, yet I didn't have experience about that situation. But I'm ready for getting that experience with that kind of employment. That is very important for you because certificates. I have a lot of certification as well, but and that is my own experience because in one kind of company, I was hired because the certification that I had. And I didn't have experience. So I had a lot of troubles about it because, oh, no, that's not, okay, Leonardo, this is not part of the business. That is part of the business. But I didn't know how to connect the learning that I had with the project because I didn't have experience. So experience is the most important thing that we need. How can I get the experience? Intern, junior, senior, specialist, or so, and certification for sure.
Okay, so just to recap what I have taken away from your response, we need to first of all learn and then try for entry-level positions, because at least for the technical roles, because the focus is on the work experience that you have for those roles. Is that what you're advising, per se?
Yeah, Leo, before you come in, let me just give you like someone like Oyaje. Someone like Oyaje has done a lot in terms of project management, worked with different companies as a project manager. So for sure, she has worked on lots of projects. Even her current position with the government, she's part of the DevSecOps team, give them helping hand, though that is not really her area, but in terms of the projects, she works with them. So that's why she's seen the need of transitioning into cyber. So what advice can you give someone like Oyaje, knowing where she's coming from, to really get that get into cyber?
Okay, so it's a very, I'd say, open question. So we have a lot of ways for answering that. But I'd say that if you're trying to jump for another area, or if you're trying to start that,
the network is It looks like we lost Leo. I'm sure he's going to come on.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
I think he's back.
Yeah.
Stop it in the starting again. So it's completing my question. So my answer is that focus in the hard skill, technical skills, but in parallel of that, does not forget about the soft skills, because when you're talking about the interview, the first thing that people start talking about that, it's about you guys, the ability of communication, the ability to be more objective, to clear communication, and many other things. And in power of that, start very, very strong hard skills, because it's very difficult today in the market when you're talking about the I'd say junior position or jumping for another one. If you already have that soft skills, it's good. And trying to get as much information, as much as I'd say knowledge in terms of that, and then get the certification, because that kind of situation is gonna open the door for you. That's I'd say it's a very important thing. For the beginning, it is about, when we're talking about the certification, we need to divide two areas. When you're talking about the very experienced person, doesn't matter if he has or not certification. This is not important for him. But when you're talking about the someone that would like to go for another area or go for the cybersecurity area, that is something that, oh, let me see the resume. Oh, that's very good, because that is Azure, AWS, CSP, CompTIA. I mean, oh, I think that is good to I'd say to call him for the interview. And that is the importance of the certification. It's gonna give you more, I'd say, opportunity to participation of the interview. But during the interview, I've never, ever in my, I'd say, 15 years of leadership, start asking that, what about your certification about Azure? What about, no, it's not that. Because that I know that, okay, if the guy has that kind of certification, that's good. I know that the minimal kind of knowledge, they have that. But I'm gonna start that, okay, talking about you, talking about your family, talking about your experience, talking about that situation, program, project, many other things. That's matter. But certification for the new area and the strong knowledge plus very good communication, guy, this is the road that you're gonna pass in a lot of interviews.
Yep. Okay, thank you. Oh yeah, Jay, do you still have any other question, or that's
No.
if not,
Let me
okay,
give others
then we're gonna have
opportunity to ask.
okay. Thanks again, Leo, for the answers. Okay, then we'll have Babywin.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mr. Leo, and thank you for being here for us.
Leo, please bear with Babywin. She's bilingual. She's more French speaking, but yeah. So
my English is a bit poor.
Go ahead.
So my question is in the same corridor like the one Olaje just asked. In fact, she even read in my mind, and I will continue in that same corridor. My question to Mr. Leo is, that hard skills, that technical skills, the experience that we are often asked when we go to interviews. What are the strategies? I mean, now we are learning. We are learning the soft skills. We are learning the theory of the area. Mm-hmm. Now we will prepare to go to an interview without any, zero experience. What are your advice for us to gain those experience? Are there some strategy like to do internship in project or in a organization just to gather some technical skills before we go out there for job interview? How can you help us in this process?
Yeah, Leo, before you answer that, just to put it in perspective, because for the students to be able to understand, because we do a lot of we're doing lab with them, like Wireshark. The last class we had an illustration with them using Wireshark, using that to monitor traffic within the network. And Esley was doing that. So we've made them to understand this is also part of the experience. I will advise them to keep using. We show them how to use tools like Wireshark and the other tools that are out there to monitor the traffic. And even when we go into a vulnerability assessment, we're going to have a lab with them. So just to give a background, then maybe you can answer her better.
Okay. So when we are looking for a person that doesn't have experience, and the first thing that I appreciate that it is for sure the ability of the people to be a self-study. Because when you're talking about, let me give you an example. I think it's 5 years ago, I had an interview for one position for analyst. And we have three kind of different profiles. The first one was, it's a very, very strong guy in terms of hard skills, but his ability of communication was not very good. The second one was a bilanguage person, and he had a good experience in terms of hard skills. And some medium, I'd say it's a good communication, but it's not enough that I was expecting. The third one was they had a minimal one, but I realized it. He was very good in communication. He was very good in share with me his plan for achieving many other things, certification or so. I decided to go for the third one because I knew that I didn't have a problem with him with working with others. And in 1 month, the guy, we paid for sure for the course for that guy. And that guy could serve, I'd say, in the other areas for influencing many other things to go and be part of the projects. So I didn't have repent of that. So when we're talking about, let's say that Barbary, when you say that, okay, I have just a theoretical situation, but you'd like to apply that, you need to sell that. Oh, I don't have, I'd say, I don't have that kind of strong knowledge now, but I'm able to do that. I can learn fast. I can do that. I have that. I can have that. I have a very good relationship with the other, and I can learn that with you. I can learn that with the company in 1 month. So for sure that, Barbary, I would hire you. Because when you're talking about communication, we are talking about here, I think everybody here has more than 20 years. So it's not easy to teach the people to have good communication. However, it's not difficult to pay a course for the girl, of the guy, I'd say, and to give more deeply on that kind of subject that I need. Because that is the matter today. When you're talking about the experienced person, it's another situation. But when you're talking about that situation, think it's about soft skills. But think also that it's very important for you to show that. Because if I saw one resume, a lot of certification, other one, it's no certification, maybe I can call the people with that has more certification to talk. However, you need to sell ourselves better. So, answer your question, it is about, I can pay you, or you can, like this kind of program here as Felix is proposing to you, 1 month, you're gonna be able to have an ability to understand better about it. But about the communication, about learning another language, it's not easy to do that. So I'd say that a mix of the soft skills and to show the ability to get the hard skill faster, it would be very good. Because guys, my advice here is that when you don't have ability for working with others, you can be the best person in a specific area. You won't bring value for the company, because the company, it is about people. That is the point.
Okay.
Thank you.
Babylon, do you have other questions?
No, it's fine. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna have those Yvette. Yvette's hand was up, but if not, we will take Yvonne. Then we'll
Yes.
come to Rebecca. Oh, okay. Yvette is there. So let's have Yvette.
Yeah,
I saw Yvette's hand up.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Doctor. I'm Mr. Leonardo. My question is, I just wish to ask how we can do to improve on our soft skills, talking about soft skills.
This is if you ask me that, how can I improve my hard skills about the every, I'd say that continue participation of that program, go to the website, blah, A, go to the website, B or C. That's because it's easier, I'd say. But when we're talking about how can I get more soft skills, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. I'd say that one point that helped me a lot, it is about the volunteer service. That's interesting. For many years, I was a teacher for no pay for that. I was a teacher for, I'd say, about the other language for no English speakers, I'd say, in Brazil. So I could improve my English because of that. Another point, this is about, as I mentioned before, I am a Christian person, like Felix, and I was a pastor as well for 15 years.
Wow.
That's kind of ability to help others. I could improve my empathy with the people, my communication with the people, my writing about that. So I'd say that it's a question of practicing. We have some course, we have some trainings about the ability to that, but how can we teach someone to be resilient? It's not possible to do that. It is about experience. How can we get that experience? Because volunteer service, it's a very good one. How can you get more experience about the leadership? Everything I know about the leadership, I learned that from the church that I'm today. So because I was a missionary one, I got more ability about it. But I'd say that when you serve others, you can get ability for receiving more, I'd say, soft skills. And also, it is something like to challenge ourselves. If you are people that don't like to talk in public, I think the first thing that you need to do is to start talking in public, because that is something that you're going to need to change. We have MBA, we have many other things. That is important. We have some rules for sure that if you research in the internet today, we can have an ability for learning how to communicate better, how to get, for example, curiosity. It is about, I'd say, something so you can improve. For example, if you consider yourself today like a no self-study, I think we can do that. How? Okay, let me just to give some kind of subject and start researching about it for yourself. If you have any kind of doubt or concern, you can reach out to the person for help you on that way.
Yeah, you just
Resilience
to
is
add, just to add on that, because these are some of the things we do in this program. Like right now, we give them present topics in groups. We have grouped them to have a group of 5, and we give them topics, because I've been looking at attacks, the different forms of attacks, and we give them different topics to prepare a presentation, and they will come to class and present that to us as a group, just to build, to add to what you're saying.
Exactly, that's it's a very good one. So you can work together. We can presentation. We can prepare PowerPoint slides, receive feedbacks. That's important. Ability to receive feedbacks is one of the most important things that we can do that, because when you receive a feedback, we can observe that and then we can change. But it's difficult to receive feedback. I know that it's very difficult to receive feedback. However, you can start, when I know people that is able to receive feedback in a good way, I can understand, I can start seeing the improvement of that person, because they understood that feedback and they understood that. So as Felix mentioned before, it's a question of practicing. If you need to improve your communication, you need to communicate. If you need to be resilient, you need to be challenged to be resilient. That's the way. So that's because experience is important. But that kind of program that Alex has mentioned before, it is about something like in group, you can challenge yourself. Oh, okay, let me see. I'm gonna be now the presenter, and you're gonna have the audience here, like to challenge you. Hey, I didn't understand that. Could you help me to understand that? So you're gonna start having more ability for communication, leadership, or curiosity, or many other things. So I think it's a volunteer service, exactly what we are doing here. To be challenged, it's a very important thing. To have some practices, a teamwork, as Felix has mentioned before, it is exactly the way so you can follow that way. But it's a day-by-day work. It's not overnight. It's like a new language. I'm not sure if the other guy is about language here, but it's not about language, because we need to change the way for having that situation here, So it's something like we need to change ourselves. But one day we're gonna realize that, oh, I'm a better communication now. So that's something that says day-by-day exercise.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Yvette. Okay, so we're gonna have Rebecca. Rebecca, your hand has been up for a while now. So do you still have your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Hi, Leonardo. Thank you for your presentation today, and thank you for answering our questions. My question is, so we know that the field of cybersecurity is very broad in terms of what we can pursue career-wise. And I'm just wondering what you would perceive to be the most prominent fields in cybersecurity in the near future. And also, another aspect of my question is, with the advancement of AI technology, how do you see that in cybersecurity, how that plays a role in cybersecurity in the future?
Okay. So answer your first question is about, I think each one question for one other guy, it's a 10, I think. So I'd say, let me divide 3 very good areas that have a good demands now. As I mentioned, cloud security, instant response like SOC analyst or so. I'd say architecture, to have an ability to connect that situation to get that. And another one that I forgot to mention for the Dennis question is about the red team. I'm not sure if you heard about blue team and red team. Blue team is the guy that needs to protect the company. Cybersecurity, for example, cloud security is part of the blue team. Okay, but we have also at the very, so just to wrap up that first part. Cloud, incident response, SOC, and I forgot, sorry. So this is the cloud security, incident response, and architecture. That is the three biggest areas today. We have one more that I forgot to mention. It is about red team. Red team is the person. It's an ethical hacker. It's that's performer penetration tests, I'd say. So that person needs to have very strong technical skills to understand if there are some kind of gaps in the environment, explore the gaps, understand exactly how can they explore that, and prepare a report, and then, hey, company, you have that gap, you need to fix that. So that is because, so the first part, it's a hard skill. The second part is soft skill. Because the guy can explore everything, but when he needs to report, they need to report that, they need to have the soft skill. So answer your first question, it is about that 4 area, I'd say. Just wrap up that part. Cloud security, architecture, security, incident response, red team. It is the 4. And I would include 5-1, cyber risk. That's part of that program as well, as part of the GRC. So cyber risk, penetration test, or red team, architecture security, that can involve everything, incident response, and
red team.
I forgot that.
Red team.
Yes, red team. Okay, so we have a worldwide kind of areas for cybersecurity, but it's a very good start. We have like DevSecOps. It's a very good area. So I think it's just 6 areas, so you can. But what is the most important in my point of view? Not most important, but everything is important. I think it's 3: architecture, cloud security, and red team. First one, cloud security. So your second question was about the IA, okay? IA is funny because everybody starts talking about the IA. So IA is ability for robot something in the intelligence way. This is the IA. So we have a lot of type of our IA in the market today, in AWS, in Azure, many other things. It's like a box. Let's see, Rebecca, that you have a box. Okay, IA is a box. It's a very intelligent box that do a lot of things. But if you don't know how to ask the IA for doing something for you, doesn't matter if you have an IA or not. Because IA, it is something like they need to receive a demand or they need to be proactive. But the human person needs to, okay, IA, start learning about that. Start learning about that. Start learning about that. So, but you need to, let's part of the architecture person. Okay, I have a cybersecurity here, cloud security, and I have a SOC one, and I have a box here about the IA, I'd say. So let's see that we had a very huge incident in the cloud environment. And every log we have is here. But if the IA is not able to get that, we need to check them. So I'd say that when you're talking about the IA, we are talking about the developer, front end, not front end, but back end, I'd say. It's a model. But today we can purchase this type of IA. The point is that how IA is gonna work in my project is here, is here, is here, or is here. Because just to have IA, to say that we have an IA, doesn't matter. That's the point. So, and the size that IA you need, and the type of IA you need, because you can have an IA for cybersecurity, but that kind of IA, the logical of that IA that was implemented doesn't work for the health kind of area. So the ability is to connect that. IA today is everywhere. But in 90%, I'd say that in 90% of the case, IA is used like nothing. It's not the full capability for using that, because the people don't know how to do that, because doesn't put that, like, let's see one example here, to be very more clear. Let's say that we are talking about the communication with our bank. So we received a robot message. Hey, Sir Felix, what do you need to do? How can I help you? So you start asking a lot of things, but in some time, I didn't understand what I saw, what you mentioned. Oh, let me transfer you for a woman attendant. This is IA, is not enough. It's not about not enough, but it was not trained in the proper way for having the ability for helping fully. So answering your objective, your question about IA is everywhere. However, we need to have an ability for connect the IA for other parts to give you the result that we need. Or architecture. You need to be architecture to connect that, to have an ability for building the block, building the many other things. IA alone doesn't matter for nothing. That is the point.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Leo, for answering to that. Okay, one last, I believe is the last question. Okay, we have Yvonne. Yvonne is in the US. And just to let you know, Leo, in this class, we have people for taking the course from Nigeria, from Cameroon. Right now in Cameroon is late, and tomorrow we have a class 7 p.m. EST. In Cameroon it's like 1 a.m. So you see the level of sacrifice, some of them Nigeria as well. So we have Yvonne. Yvonne, can you please go ahead to ask the question?
Okay, thank you, Prof, and thank you to Prof. Leonardo, if I'm calling it correctly. I'm happy most of the questions have thrown light to what I had in mind. I thanked the classmate for asking those questions. And what I have to ask is, we talked about leadership skills, which may cover communication, resilience, and other skills. If I go for an interview, for example, most of the interviews now are conducted via telephone or maybe Zoom. Normally an interviewer is expecting to get some of these skills in you. I know talking to an interviewer, the person may understand that verbally you can communicate very well. Normally, communication covers a lot. The written part of it, your ability to listen and understand. And when it comes to leadership, they need your ability to work with other people, connect with other people, and influence other people. During an interview, either over the phone or Zoom, how does the interviewer, especially for those of us who don't have experience yet, how does an interviewer get to know that you have those skills that he needs from you? Because it's only the verbal part is good. You can be there, you communicate your body, mind, and soul. But
Mm-hmm.
the interviewer is sitting there. He doesn't know how your written skills are, how your relationship with other people can be, like your ability to work with people, your ability to influence people, that resilience and your mental health and so on. How does the interview over the phone or on a Zoom get to know all those things?
Very good point. So I'm going to, that's a very good question. Very, very
That's
good
right.
question. That's a good question. So let me divide my answer in two, okay?
Yep.
The first answer, let's say that we are talking about the experienced person,
Yep.
experienced person, okay? So for sure that, I think the first thing is, the basic thing is that, okay, if it's not possible at all to meet in person, okay, so the first interview, what I do, the first interview, it is in, I'd say, Zoom or Teams or so. So it's we're trying to get a sense. We're trying to ask some questions about that, and the way that you can communicate. For example, it's very good, but doesn't mean that you are a good person to lead day by day. This is a challenge for sure. So it is something like, Yvonne, to connect some parts. Like if you have experienced person, so the first thing, okay, he has a very good ability for that. So start questions about the experience. For example, hey, Yvonne, it's an example. Can we share with me one experience that you had, that you have conflicted before, and how did you solve that? And start to listen. So the point is trying to build questions for understanding the experience about it. That is the second point. First is about communication, second point about building that. The third point, it's about, can we meet in person to understand that? If it doesn't possible, okay, that's good. But doesn't means like in person you're gonna be able to get a sense that the guy had that kind of situation, that ability. The most important thing is to get references about that person. For example, if I need to hire Yvonne, and I know that Felix worked before with you, after the interview, I will have my impression about it, but I will ask Felix, I know that you worked with Yvonne for 5 years. What you are feeling about her in terms of leadership, that. If Felix, the person that I trust, mentioned to me that, hey, Ovidio, I know that it's a very easy person to lead. I didn't have any problem with her. I know that her capability for taking care of the people is very good. I know that. So, Yvonne, I will be more comfortable about it. Does it mean that we won't have any problem about that? Because we're gonna talking about the person. It's very good, but when you include that person in a different culture in terms of company, maybe that's going to be different. So we need to. It is a risk. Hire is like a risk because we don't know that person, but we need to understand that person. So 3 things. First one is about understand the communication, to build a strong question to understand how that person dealt about the conflict that they had, and references. That's very important. I'm used to call for 3 different persons to get references. So this is my first answer for you. When you're talking about no experienced person, I will ask the same. I will understand the communication, understand the conflict, not a professional one, but it's a personal one. This is important. And I would ask you for 3 reference about church, if you were a part of the church, or friends, or many other things. I know that friends is, not sure if that is going to be very fair, because friends is friends, but some person that I'd like to know more about it, and I start calling that person to understand more about it, and I need to take a decision, and in the day by day I will understand more about it. That is the risk, because there is no receipt for doing that, but that's part of, sincerely speaking, I hired 100%. No one is very good, but the character of the people, the internal of the people, behavior of the people was good. So the people needed to change. The people could change. That is the point. So it is a risk, but to mitigate a risk, we can do that part of the equation, because it's not possible to get a full understanding about the Yvonne's leadership without to work with her. That is the point, but we can mitigate the risk.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Yvonne. Thank you, Leo. I'm sure that answers your question, Yvonne.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So it's been
just one thought here, Felix. It's
yeah.
This is a lot of questions, but I'd say that's a very serious question. It's not just question. Oh, what is the color of the shy? No, it's not that. So it was. I needed to think. I need to think to answer your question. It's a very good question. It seems like, Felix, you have a lot of good people here for that, and it's a very good group for that situation. And after that, for sure that we're gonna be hired for some people or so. But everything you talked here was about soft skills. Almost everything. Your question was based on something like soft skills, something like hard skills as well. Hard skill is something like you need to dedicate yourself, get that, read, do a proof of certification, many of the things, but it is important also the soft skills about it. I think we had one more question, no problem.
Yep, okay, Yvette.
Okay.
So we want to take
as beginners in the cybersecurity field, what technical aspect can we really begin with as beginners?
It's like medicine. If you'd like to be a doctor, you need to understand some fundamentals before. After that, we can go and choose your path. If your path is cybersecurity, it's cloud security, understand the path and move forward. If your path is DevSecOps, understand that path and move forward. It is depends of what do you want, because like a medicine today area, everybody needs a doctor for heart. Everybody needs a doctor for eyes. What is the best? There is no best, because if you don't take care about your heart, you can have a heart attack. You can die. For sure, it's not good. If you don't take care about your eyes, you can have some problems. You can be blind or so, have a problem. So what I mean that both is very important, but depends exactly what you like, because choose an area that it's good about money, it's good about opportunity, but you don't like, you will arrange a problem for you. That is something like answer your question. Fundamentals, IT fundamentals. For example, like, okay, no, I'd like to be a cloud guy, but I don't know what is Windows. So I think it's not a good start. So I don't know nothing in terms of IT. I don't know if it's a good start. So, but if you have a basic fundamentals, so you can choose SOC 1, cloud security, red team, blue team, incident response, SOC or so.
Yeah, so Leo, we are aware of some of these things on that side. The way we structure this program, we even added little basic Linux to it. You have to give them that foundation, because if they are whatever they want to do, which we are there to guide them to know which area they should focus on. They are from different backgrounds, so we'll be able to know which area to guide them to focus on. But we're giving them that foundation. We're going to have basic Linux, teach them basic Linux in this program, just to help them. And well, we're going to do a little bit of Windows as well, just to help them.
Yeah, it's very good, because when you know about the fundamentals, it's going to be better for you to achieve the next level. That is the point. So depends of where you want. If you want cloud security, you need to start learning about what is Azure, what is AWS, what is cloud, and then to start to understand the security configuration, and then to start to understand about the protection of the Azure environment. That is level of that.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Leo. Well, we're planning to have you just for 30 minutes, but
you mentioned 15 minutes with me yesterday.
That's
But that's
yeah.
good. It was good. It was very
so I
good.
was talking with the other instructors, and I said 30 minutes. Then when we came this morning, I said, "Oh, you can
No problem.
the class." We are happy to have you. Honestly speaking, we are happy. This is not only to the students, even some of us, the instructors, we are far below experience than you have. You have dealt with so many situations, so it's a very informative session. I know a lot of them. We're going to have you again. I know you did mention that you're always available to assist, to help, to help us. This is our plea, and also the class as well, talking on behalf of the other instructors, that time to time you come, even if it's once a month, you come and not only on the soft skills, maybe just help the student in a particular area, like a workshop, because we plan to have like workshops monthly, where we look at both the technical skills, and also those workshops we can have you handle that. So we'll be so happy. Yeah. I don't know if the other instructors have any other thing to just a remark to Leo before he leaves.
Yeah, sure do. Mr. Leo, I just want to take this moment to express my sincere gratitude for taking your time to speak to our class today. Your insight in the industry is incredibly valuable, and I know you provided us like a better understanding of the field. Our students will definitely leave today like feeling more comfortable, more informed, excited about pursuing a career in cybersecurity. I know for a lot of them, it was like a difficult direction to take, but today I know they are feeling more comfortable. They're understanding more about it as well. And also, your willingness to share that knowledge and experience with our students is just a testament to your commitment in the industry
and also to develop the next generation of professionals.
Yep.
Again, I just want to thank you for your effort in making this class today. Your contribution is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to having you in future.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
So it was a pleasure. It's a pleasure to me to be here for sure. That to share some experience that I have, so to help you guys.
Yeah.
I think it's a good time.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Doctor, do you have anything?
Yes, Mr. Leonardo, we really appreciate your professionalism, your time, and I want to thank you again for the points you really made. We have been saying it, but with that basic knowledge, we could not do it like you. You have really put us on the rail, and the students are going to be going back today knowing that they are somewhere where they are sure that at the end of the day, they are going to have something. Thank you for the wonderful responses you gave to all the questions that were posed to you. And we are looking forward to be having you from time to time, like we already said. We really appreciate. We can't thank you enough. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the question. What's a very good questions. I think it's the question. I could explore more the subject because the questions. I think that's very important. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So